Hey, hey, everybody, what's up? This is your girl Shannon at Can We Talk Sports. I got tongue twisted. That is the first time it's happening, opening up. I am here with my host.
Hey, you guys, it's Karen. What's going on?
All right, listen, I would like to say God is good. I saw Karen's post. She went to go get tested for COVID, and her test came back negative. Let's say God is good.
He is
What?
good. He
Because
is.
I know that was scary. Come on. I know you was sitting there like, oh Lord, wait, Jesus, hold on. I know you was like, oh my gosh. Because I would have been like, oh, I would have been twiddling my thumbs. I probably would have drove my kids crazy. Yeah. But
Well, I wasn't sure what type of test I was going to have. I had asked someone, I was like, is anybody doing this mouth swiping? So they was like, this place. So I wasn't sure whether they're going to be sticking something up my nose or swiping my mouth. So that's where I was uneasy at. And
mhm,
so when I got up there, and they told you take out they set you apart 4 ways apart, and they gave
mhm,
you a little bag, and they tell you take out the swipe. I was like, okay. And they said cough in your arm 3 times, and then take it and swipe around your mouth, and then there's a little bottle you open up and you stick the stick in there and
mhm.
break off the end of it, and you shake it up and you put it into the bag and you give it to them. And so
And your test came back negative.
yeah, and I asked him, I said, how long is it going to take to get back? And he said 5 days. So I had it done on Friday, and I
Mhm.
got my results back on Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. Very
It's a
good sign.
good sign. It's just that right now I'm still dealing with my cough. I'm
Yeah.
still dealing with it. And so,
Allergies and stuff around. Everything is in the air. So it's.
yeah,
But
I
the
just been
plus
getting
side, it's
drunk.
not COVID,
So,
so that's the main side of it.
yeah, I just been getting drunk over night drinking NyQuil. I've been waking up with a hangover. I didn't know why. I'm
Please
like, what?
oh, I was gonna say, please, producer, edit this out the show, but we are live, so we can't edit it. Did our host just say she get drunk off her NyQuil?
I was drink because I was coughing so much and I couldn't stop. And my
Wait,
husband
no,
was
I
like, "You got to
can't,
go in
Karen.
another
Did you
room."
say you get drunk off of NyQuil?
Well, I didn't realize it, so I was kept drinking the Nyquil because I was trying to stop coughing. And then the next morning, I woke up and I said, "I got a headache. I don't know why I got a headache." My husband said, "You Nyquil's got alcohol in it." I was like, "I didn't taste it," but I guess you
Hey,
got.
the old remedy I heard is rum or rum tea. So tea, rum, and lemon. I heard that's the remedy to
Hot
knock it
toddy,
to
the hot
knock it
toddy,
out. Huh?
the hot
The
toddy.
hot toddy. Hot toddy, toddy, toddy. Okay, y'all, let me stop.
Well, I went to Starbucks and got a hot they call it a medicine ball, and it's like lemon and these herb teas and
No,
peppermint.
I said rum.
I know. I was
Mm-mm.
trying to be,
Maybe put some rum in there.
but I'm still coughing. So I went and got these little cough drops. I'm eating them like candy.
Oh my gosh, she said, wait, okay, so listen, she done got drunk off the NyQuil. She eating the cough drops like candy. Oh my God, this is too
I,
funny.
I don't know what else to do. I bought some ginger. I bought some ginger that I'm put squeezing in some lemonade that has some kind of root in it and eucalyptus plant, and I'm drinking that. I'm drinking this little airway cough thing that
You're
that's a
gonna have to
drop.
detox your body after all of that.
I I know, but I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday to get some real stuff.
She said some real stuff, y'all. Like the
Yeah,
real stuff.
the real
The,
cough
the,
medicine,
the
not that
prescribed stuff.
not that over counter stuff.
The
So real,
prescribed stuff. The real deal. Lord
yeah.
have mercy, Karen. Now you need. Oh my gosh, you are so funny. So, when you're ready to move along, I'm kind of excited. I was told that the NFL is opening back up. So The guys have been getting ready just in case they get that phone call. But then the agent said a tweet went out that until all this testing is in place, it may not. I mean, it's one thing or another, but the guys are getting ready. They're hopeful.
Hmm.
So yeah, well, we'll see what happens, you know.
Well, I posted something today about the high school games for 5A and 6A is not starting until September. They pushed it back 5 weeks.
Football?
Football
Really?
can't start practice until September the 9th, I think, sometime in September in the
What?
first
Okay,
week.
so I don't. Okay, this is the part we got to move on to the show, but this is the part I don't understand. But aren't they saying winter is going to be worse? Like when it starts getting cold. So why are you pushing it back?
Right. And then how is it they said 4A, 3A, 2A is regular schedule, but 5A, 6A pushed back? Are they saying that more people come to the bigger games? And I was
Probably
like,
so. But
why would
still,
if it's bad, it's bad. It don't matter who comes to the game. I mean, I just don't understand that.
I don't either. It doesn't make sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense. So, I did get my email. Jaden, Christopher, and Christian will be homeschooled. Um,
Really?
yeah, they're going to do the homeschool. I'm going to go ahead and do that with them online and stuff like that. But they still be able to UIL, still be able to play. So, yeah. But okay.
That was your choice. You could choose to homeschool
Mhm.
versus going to
They
class.
actually we talked about it and they wanted to do it. But now it's funny because they're like, Christopher's like, I don't know if I'll be getting up. I was like, no, actually they're gonna do it just like regular school. So if you're tardy, you get marked. If you don't show up, you get marked. Your grades are literally being watched. UIL made a post. If your grades are not at the GPA average, you're benched. You can't play the game. So it's not like when they first homeschooled, everybody got to chill and it took a minute to get into. No, they're gonna run it just as if you're sitting in the classroom. Oh yeah, UIL said if you're not don't meet the requirements, you don't play. I mean, you've got to check
Oh, how they gonna
because
do that?
I guess the teachers are going to know if you're online for class, if you're turning you have to turn in the assignments just as if you was in class. So if your GPA at the end of your quarter or semester, whatever, is low or you get an F or you fail, you can't play. You can't play. So
Wow.
yeah, they figured out a way to like, even if you're gonna be home, you're still gonna participate. So they're sending out to those to get laptops this week or next week or something like that. And so they're trying to get everybody prepared, registered, logged in, and go from there. So they're gonna go ahead and stay home.
All right.
Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and stay home. So better safe to be sorry, I guess you could
Yeah.
say it like that.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, guys, listen. We have Coach Evans, a hockey coach, getting ready to come to the show because we're going to talk a little bit more about hockey right after this. Hey, Coach Evans, how are
Hey,
you?
coach.
Shannon, Karen, before I begin, I just want to thank both of you and the Can We Talk staff for having me on. I'm extremely humbled and looking forward to this experience and sharing this time with you. So I'm doing well. I want to share in the praises with Karen. Glad that your test came back negative. And hopefully you keep having those NyQuil and hottie toddy parties.
NyQuil, Coach. She getting tipsy off of NyQuil. Oh, my God.
It don't take much. It don't take much.
Karen. Now, DeSoto, you listen, y'all just ignore the fact that she's getting tipsy off of NyQuil.
That's it. But I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk.
She's not drunk. She's just leaning a little bit. That's all. Right? That's all.
We all are a little bit.
Right. All right. So, Coach, welcome to the show. I read your bio, your information, and I was floored. Like,
It
wow.
was long.
Long.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Can I ask how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 28.
Look at all you have accomplished at 28.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I've had a lot of good people in my corner and some wonderful support that's helped me get where I'm at right now, and still striving forward and onward, and long way to go. But yeah, I'm really thankful for the people I've encountered so far. Thank you.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about your journey, how it all got started to where you are right now.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I'm from Northern California. That's where I am right now, recording this podcast. Sacramento, specifically the capital of California, and I grew up all my life here until I was about 19. I was raised by a single mom, and I have one brother who's about 14 months younger than I am. We had a very blessed and wonderful childhood. Obviously, it had its challenges, but like I said, I was raised by just a very resilient, powerful, and loving mother who provided my brother with everything and more that we needed to have a wonderful childhood. Since I was young, sports was a part of my life. So I think my mom, being a single mom, realized it was really important for my brother and I to have positive male influences. And I believe she thought sports was a way for us to experience that. So since I can remember, we were in T-ball and track and field and martial arts, and we were really active kids. She made sure of that. It wasn't until about 10 and 11, my brothers and I stumbled upon the Mighty Ducks movie that many people know, that's produced by Disney. And we were hooked. We were hooked right there. We saw hockey for the first time. We were unaware of the sport. We had no history in it. My mom had no history in hockey at all. And my brother and I, being who we are, we bugged her like crazy to get us playing. She found a way. She made it happen. And my brother and I started playing hockey competitively from about the ages of 10 and 11 all the way till we were 18. And for me, I continued to play until I was about 22. It was a wonderful experience. It led me many different places. And in 2015, I transitioned from playing to coaching here in Northern California for a local club. And it's taken me all where I am right now. And last season, where I coached the San Jose Junior Sharks 18 AAA team. And then this upcoming year, I'll be going to graduate school and pursuing my path into working in professional hockey.
Wow. Okay, so first of all, I need to give you a high five because I am from Sacramento, California. What? I went to Foothill High School.
Awesome. What a small world.
Yes. And my sister went to Highlands High. So she was at Highlands. I didn't want to go to Highlands. So we lived right at the border where I could go to Highlands or Foothill. So I'd walk over my little overpass and walk right on the Foothill, and she went right on to Highlands High. Yeah.
So we lived on the border of Folsom and Orangevale. My brother went to Casa Roble, which is a high school in Orangevale, and I went to Folsom.
Oh, you went to Folsom? Yes, I know exactly where that is. What?
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I want to say he went to the University of Michigan, and we had a set of twins that play football at the University of Michigan.
Go blue, go blue.
So you started off in all different sports, and first of all, I love how you give your mom praise. That's like huge. My hat's off to you because you realized what you guys went through. She was a single mom, but all that she's done, and you wouldn't be where you are without her support. So thank you for that, because it's important, because sometimes moms get left out, not all the time, but thank you for that. Second of all, so you go on this journey, and the Mighty Ducks, I remember that movie. That movie was good. Okay, because I watched it so many times. You ever seen it, Karen?
Yes, I have.
That was really a good movie. And so got inspired and got into hockey. Mm-hmm. So what was that first time like? Because you had no skating lessons, no skills, no nothing. What was that like?
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't like the movie, right? So, I think when you sign up for any sport, you kind of think you're just going to jump out there and be an all-star. You try to be humble, but I think you're just so excited. And it was definitely a challenge, but it was one that my brother and we accepted. We never got down or negative. We fell in love with it. And though it was hard and challenging the first couple of years, and we had to learn, and maybe there were some of our peers that had been playing longer than us, and we didn't really care. Again, my mom worked really hard to give us the resources to help us succeed and be the best we could be. She realized that we really had a passion for it. And that passion wasn't always at the rink, right? So when we got home, we were shooting pucks outside, we were skating outside, we were talking hockey, watching hockey. I mean, it really became a lifestyle for us, for our family. And I think a lot of people can relate to that when they have kids growing up in sports, and I think a lot of kids can relate to that as well. So it was definitely challenging in the beginning, but it was a bunch of fun, and I wouldn't replace it for anything in the world.
And so you went in from that to, did you play professional or for a while? Hockey?
Yeah, so I didn't pursue it to a professional level. I would say my playing career was pretty average. I was fortunate to play in some pretty good levels growing up, and I was able to pursue it after high school for a while, and even into some college hockey as well. And then when I returned to California for a summer of training, I thought I was going to return to play and finish out my college career. But that's when I was introduced to my mentor at the time, my coaching mentor, and the coaching opportunity was presented to me. And, the only way I can explain it to you guys and how I remember calling my mom and telling her about it was, it just felt like God had put something on my heart that I need to do this, that this is where I needed to be. And it was too good to be true. And it wasn't that things were promised to me or that I thought I was going to have tons of success. I just knew that this guy had my best interest. I knew he was going to teach me the right way. And I knew I had a passion for it. And I think deep down, and I don't know if other athletes feel this way, Shannon and Karen, but I think at the end of the day, I knew that if I wanted to stay in the sport for how long I did, coaching was going to be that outlet a lot more than playing. I feel like for some players, they know that they can take playing all the way to the professional levels and take it very, very far. But I think for a huge majority of us, we want to stay in the game, and playing career is going to end sooner than later. And we got to find another way to stay in the game. And for me, it was just coaching. And I knew that it fed my passion. And again, it's a decision that I don't regret. And I'm absolutely pleased with the decision I made to start coaching.
Wow.
I like that because you recognize it's like, okay, I can go this way or I could go this way. Either way is not bad, but it was kind of a way of balance. But this way seemed a little more stronger than the other, where some would is like, no, I'm going to play and that's it. You're like, no, I'm still involved, even if I go to coaching. And you looked at it as this is something I think God want me to do. Right. So in that, I always, we'll say the alignment before the assignment, because now you're getting ready to go get your master's. Are you going to be a sports agent, or how are you?
Yeah, no, great question. So I'm pursuing my master's degree in sports management, and hopefully with some sports law in there as well. And the goal is to obviously obtain my degree and then continue to climb the ladder collegiately and then hopefully professionally. And my ultimate goal is to work for the National Hockey League, which is equivalent to the National Football League or Major League Baseball. So it's one of the four major sports, and it's the highest level for hockey in North America. And I plan on being a head coach in the National Hockey League and then transitioning to general management at the National Hockey League.
Wow.
Drop the mic on the show right now. I mean, I'm dropping all the mics. He had it to the T. Look, this is what I'm going to do. And then this is the goal. This is where I'm going to be. And bam, it was not, I'm trying or I would like to be.
Right.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
When you can have that kind of confidence, can't nothing and nobody stop you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think if you're passionate about something, it's going to keep you awake every day. Right. I'm really fortunate. I coach right now. It's what I do full time. And I'm really blessed. I don't wake up regretting to go to work at all. And any day that I wake up and I'm maybe not feeling the best, I get on the ice, get working with the kids or my other colleagues. And I'm really thankful, and my mood changes immediately, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So I know this is why I'm put on the earth. And like I said, I've had a lot of people that support me, and I owe it to them to take this to the maximum degree I can take it.
All right. I'm dropping the mic again. Boop.
That's it.
Right, Karen, can we? I mean, you kind of like you're stuck a little bit because you're like, man, This is what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? If
Right.
these athletes can understand to this level
Right.
and have that kind of confidence to this level, they would be
Right.
unstoppable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It would help with the transition, as far as, okay, really looking at where you are. Okay, yeah, I want to be professional, but this height and weight and all this kind of stuff. But I love the game and I'm smart at the game, so why don't I just go right over here and take that smartness and instill it into
right.
kids?
Take it
And
to a whole nother level. Because sports end, whether it's an injury, whether it's your age, whether it's a contract, they just don't need you anymore. Sports is going to end,
yeah,
right? The plane of it for a person is only so long, but yet sports doesn't end because there's so
Yeah.
many facets to it.
yeah,
And so for you to research and realize this is what I want to do, to the point you've mapped it out. You know what I'm saying? Before you took the trip, you ever seen those people go on vacation and they do not map it out? And they're like, well, okay, well, the map said we're going to go, and then they're like, they're everywhere because they don't know. But there are those who said, okay, I'm leaving from here. We shall arrive here. The hotel is here. It makes the trip smoother. That's what he did. It was like, okay, this is this, this is the school. This is what I want to do. This is how I need to get there. This is this. And then my end result is I'm going to run the thing.
right.
Right.
But
So,
I like the fact he started with the mentor that was put in his life
listened.
and realized the value that he gave him. Yeah, I like that.
Right. Because you got a lot of athletes who don't. They think they know it all. Not all, but a majority of them. And the fact that he listened to the mentor and was like, you know what? And I love how he called his mom. Mom, listen, this is what it is.
Right.
And I believe this is what God is saying.
Yeah.
So he
And regarding
discussed it with her.
and regarding if you don't mind me touching base on the student or the athlete versus the coaching, it's a big transition. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And obviously there's a lot of players that end their career and they get into coaching and they're very successful. But it takes a lot of hard work. And I think for me, it was important to have a mentor because, the responsibilities as a coach and when you're an athlete, when you're playing, are totally different. And, one thing that I can, be honest about and be transparent here with you guys is that when you're playing, you're pretty solely focused on yourself. Now, do you want team success? Do you want your buddies to do well? Of course. But as a coach, I've got 25 personalities and emotions and mindsets that I have to deal with and hopefully keep them all bought in, where as an individual athlete, you're kind of just worried about yourself and you're making sure your performance is on par and your preparation is detail oriented and going to help you succeed. So I just think having that mentor helped me understand how to do it right or get off to the right foot. And it's definitely paid off.
Wow. I need to go back a little bit because you said that you guys are from Northern California. And last time I heard, I didn't see it snow out there. So how did your mom get you into hockey, especially ice hockey and not street hockey in Northern California?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And Karen, I think what you're insinuating is that a lot of people don't think of California as a hockey state, right? We obviously have this wonderful weather and we have other really big sports. High school football is really big out here in California, and obviously baseball and your standard, American sports, North American sports. But USA Hockey recently just rated California as the 6th best place to play and to learn and grow and play hockey. So it's growing, but there are indoor facilities, and that's how a majority of our ice hockey is played here. We don't have many outdoor rinks, but we have wonderful resources because to say it fairly, a lot of people that live in California obviously make good money to live in California. It's an expensive state. And because of that, people are able to build nice facilities that allow us to play indoors. So I think when it came to my mom, I think she just worked hard to maybe talk to some friends and look through the phone book. I don't know if people remember that are listening.
Big old yellow pages.
Yeah, exactly. I think she just found the ice rink. And that's when she just kind of threw us on the ice, and we got lessons shortly after. But hockey definitely is growing in California, and it's definitely becoming a more popular sport, especially in Southern California.
Okay. So let's transition, talk about COVID. When COVID happened, and from my understanding, they kind of closed California back down again. Am I correct? Or how was that mental transition, not only for you as a coach, but also for your team?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just to give you guys some background, so we had won this year. We had I was fortunate to coach a very special group of young men in San Jose, and we reached a lot of pinnacles of success this year. One being we won the California 18U Tier 1 state championship, and we followed that performance up with the USA Hockey Pacific District championship up in Tacoma, Washington. The Pacific Districts took place in early March. We were up there in early March. We got home Monday the 9th, I believe, and we had punched our ticket to the national tournament that was going to be held in Michigan, and we were going to be one of 16 teams competing for the national championship title. Unfortunately, about 4 days later, after we came home from Tacoma, we got the shutdown, and that's when obviously the NBA really closed with the Rudy Gobert situation, and everything started to follow suit. And it was not too long after that we heard our season was canceled. To be honest, Shannon, I think when it first hit, I think we were all in such a blur and we were all in such a shock that we didn't really get time to sit here and think of what was going on. I think, prematurely we thought things would just get back to normal quickly. Oh, it's going to be shut down for 2 weeks and then we'll get back going, and then, a week turned into 2 weeks and 2 weeks turned into a month. And then a month, is where we're at today, 3 months later. I think it took us a while to sit there and realize that, our season is over and we're not going to get it back. And even though we ended on a high note, it was tough. It was really tough. Just in the fact that you didn't realize, I think everyone has a closure part of the year, right? Whether that's a last game, win or lose, but it's going to be the last game. For us, we just accomplished this huge, huge thing by winning the districts, and we were on such a high emotionally and mentally and physically. I mean, we were just so excited to move on to a stage that, quite frankly, the age level in our program hadn't reached in a really, really long time, if ever. And for us to not realize that was going to be our last time together or that was our last game was really hard. So, after that, I just took it upon myself to really work hard to communicate with my players, have Zoom meetings. Personally, what I did was I wrote down each of my players' names on a notepad, and I try to touch base with them at least once a week, every one of them. If that was just a 5-minute phone call or if it was a quick text message or a voicemail, just to let them know that, times are crazy. No one knows what's going on. We're all on Mars, but just stay healthy. And then for me to have some closure and just let them know that I really appreciate everything they did for me. And we're actually still working here in California to get together to have kind of an end of the season party so we can finally have that closure. But yeah, Shannon, it was definitely tough. Some of my players and I were talking about that today, and you sit there and you want to think about what could have been, you want to sit there and, oh my gosh, we got to nationals, what could have been? And those are the days it's really hard. But I think this is a great time for us to focus on all the real positive and the experiences we did have and everything we accomplished, and just let the boys know that it's not about what we didn't do. It's about all the great things we did. And I'm thankful for that regardless.
So during this time, like, out of all, how many players do you have?
I had 17 on my team last year.
Oh, okay. Out of the 17, were there some that it really mentally hit them very harder than others that you had to walk them through?
Yeah, because even at my level of coaching, this is a high-level youth hockey. It's the highest level within youth hockey that you can play, 18 AAA. Even at that level, I coach some really tremendous, talented athletes who are very gifted hockey-wise. But at that age, they've decided now to pursue academics or pursue other life ventures other than hockey. So they knew that this year was going to be their last year. Regardless if they maybe had opportunities to play hockey, they wanted to go to school. And, I have some kids that are able to go to some really great schools on academic opportunities and scholarships. So, yeah, that was really tough for them. For others, I think it was hard on them, but they knew they were going to continue to play hockey, right? It's kind of like, for example, I think you guys were talking about football earlier. It's, everyone has seniors on their team, right, in high school football. Some of those seniors are going to go play college football or JUCO football regardless. They know that there's still football to be played. But then there's other seniors that are still talented football players, but they've made a life choice to maybe say, you know what, I'm going to go to school now full time, or I'm going to go into the military, or whatever their heart leads them to do. I think it's really hard for them because it is their last game. It is their last time that they'll be around those guys, and it might be the last time they're ever in a locker room, to be honest. So for those guys, I think it hit a lot harder than the other ones.
So during this time, were there recruiting going on from colleges for your players?
Yeah, recruiting from the junior level, what we call it. So that's a time between 18 and 18 and 21, which you can play in a league called juniors, which is before college. So it's kind of like
wow.
Yeah, so it's a little untraditional compared to football, where you go straight from high school to college, or maybe high school, junior college, then your 4-year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in hockey we have this thing called juniors, where you play until you're 21, and then most college freshman hockey players are 22 years old. So there's a lot of recruitment in that level for our team, and the national festival would have been just a wonderful opportunity for our boys to get even more exposure. So even for the guys that were continuing playing, they were bummed out too, because they knew they missed opportunities of possibly getting scouted.
Now, when does the season start for you guys? Around?
Yeah, good question. So our season started in August, and we were going to be probably going till April.
Oh, wow. So, August to April. So basically this is around the time where they're saying that the cold season will make it worse. Is there conversation that you may not have a season? Because we're noticing they're switching seasons around, right? So they're trying to bring football in spring, and then all the outdoors in fall, which is track, baseball, soccer. It's like a flip, which is confusing to me. But have there been talk that there's a possibility you may not have a season, starting from August to April, because it's cold? It's around the cold time.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I know that's a popular word nowadays with COVID, but there really is. And to be honest, I think in the hockey world, if anyone tells you they know exactly what's going to happen, they're lying to you. We really don't know what's going on. Now, tryouts have been pushed back for a majority of states and clubs, especially here in California. I'd say California is arguably one of the most shut down states in our nation regarding sports, right? So they've already announced that tryouts won't be anytime before October. So that's obviously a couple months post the August regular start time. But it's really just varies on state right now. It varies on levels. We're hearing different things from some levels aren't going to start till the new year. Some levels are going to try to play and just hopefully abide by social distancing guidelines. And if it's medically advisable, they're going to try to play. But at the youth level, it's really hit or miss right now. But I think starting in August is going to be a very rare occasion, unfortunately, at the youth level. And coming from me, I'm a huge sports fan. So you won't find anybody that wants kids to play or wants these pro leagues to start more than me. I'm crossing my fingers every day that there's no more tests. I
think we all are.
Yeah. I just want to see sports back on TV. I don't care if there's fans or no fans. I just want the kids to play. I'm feeling for everybody right now, and I'm obviously it's out of our control, but I just want sports to come back any way, shape, or form.
I think we all do. Now, let me ask this question: as a coach, how have you been mentally?
I've been good, to be honest. I have a lot of normalcy in my life, obviously by respecting the guidelines, but my county seems to be pretty open, in comparison to other counties and other states that are just really, really shut down and locked down. But I've had access to be able to continue to coach in a very limited capacity. But I think as a coach, I maybe be weird to say this, but I think this was a really great time to reflect on a lot of things. And with so much downtime at home, it was a great time to read books on coaching and watch film and maybe do some webinars or watch videos of other coaches talking. So it was a really great time to educate yourself and kind of take this extra time to prepare for next season, whatever next season look like or whatever level you're coaching. So I'm doing well. I'm a pretty positive person, but I've been able to stay active, been able to stay in contact with my loved ones. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Whoa, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Her
What
famous
if,
question.
what if we ask the kids all the time? We always ask the kids about their backup plan, but you as a coach, especially with what's going on with COVID-19, what if there's no more sports? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, if there's no more sports next season or ever.
Ever?
You know what?
Oh,
We have to ask this
No.
question because the crazy thing is no one ever seen this. This 1 minute, everything was fine, right?
yeah.
And then the next minute, you're wearing masks. Kids are not going to school. It's like spring break happened, right? For my kids, right? All right, we're out on spring break. We're not going back. Wait, what happened? So we asked this question because anything is liable to shift and change.
Yeah.
We're seeing that right now. I mean, it's not one state got affected. The world has been affected. I mean, from jobs, it's like Karen. 1 minute she's going to a building to work. Next minute they're like, "You're not coming back to the building. You're going to work from home. We're shutting down the building." Wait, what? I've been coming to this building 30 years, and now I've got to. So everybody's shifting. So when she says never, I know it sounds crazy, but we have to ask the question because, like she said, we're always telling the young people have a backup plan. And yet coaches never really have a backup plan because one of the first coaches she asked, he kind of just sat there and he goes, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And it was just like a reality moment hit him like, wow, what if, whether it's 2-3 years from now,
Right.
what am I going to do? So that's why we asked that question to all the coaches. What is your backup plan?
Yeah, I think people don't really think of their backup plan because they never think about their first plan getting eliminated, right? So,
Right.
But for me, I think the one thing that comes to mind is I'd probably go into teaching. And I think teaching, because I think it's a lot similar to coaching. If not, coaching is teaching and teaching is coaching. I really don't think there's a huge difference between the two of them. And I think there's similar challenges in both, right? So when I walk into a locker room and I've got 18 kids looking at me and expect me to lead us and expect me to create a team culture and expect me to create an environment that's going to be one that can help them succeed. I think it's a lot like walking into a classroom, right? So when I walk into a classroom, there's 25 kids looking at me saying, how are you going to teach me? How am I going to feel welcomed? How am I going to feel successful? I want to belong. And how am I going to buy into you? And I think that challenge is exciting. So I'd probably go into teaching, if anything.
Wow. So now during this transition also, how does that work for you going to college away? Because you're supposed to be going to, is it Michigan?
Yeah, University of Michigan. So I've talked to my advisors there. As of right now, the school president has announced that they're going to offer both options, in-class options and as well as online options. But our program's a little bit smaller because it's a graduate program. So they do expect classes to be online or in person. Obviously, we'll probably have to be wearing masks and abide by social distancing guidelines. But as of right now, and if everything stands okay, they do plan on having students on campus and classes held. But anything's subject to change, right? We can say now and then tomorrow the three of us wake up and something crazy happens. Hopefully not. But yeah, it's looking positive in the realm of everything going on right now.
Wow.
Good.
This is I'm gonna just drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
I'm just gonna drop the mic. I mean, because your plan, which is it's open, it's because sometimes God will come in and adjust it. But the fact of you made your vision plain.
Yeah.
That you could see it. And I think if a lot of athletes and coaches, let me ask you this. Do you help your players make their vision plain just as well as you've made yours?
Yeah, I think that's part of coaching, right? I think you're doing a disservice to your athletes if you're not helping them think about life after sports, whatever that may be. So for me, what I do is I try to really pride myself on figuring out what do they like other than hockey, right? I could just ask them about hockey 24/7, but that's not realistic. Maybe they love, these guys are on TikTok and they watch Netflix and try to get them, they're people, I love hockey, but I've got other interests outside of coaching hockey that I love to do and pursue. So maybe a kid is really interested in mountain biking, or maybe a kid is really interested in engineering, or maybe a kid's really interested in I don't know, tons of things, fitness, health. I think it's just about having those conversations. And the more you try to ask them about those things, they kind of sit there and realize like, oh, maybe Coach Evan just doesn't see me as a hockey player. Maybe he sees me as something else. And then you can kind of create that conversation about, oh, well, what would you study in college? And, you know, if hockey wasn't around, what could you do? And I think you'd be really good at that, or you're really good at that. You should look into that. So I think it's just about creating a narrative about what else outside of your life is hockey. And Shannon, you brought up a good thing. I have a quote in my life I kind of follow, and it's, we plan and God laughs, right? So
right. Yeah.
I can sit here and plan as much as I want to go to Michigan and do all this, but the man upstairs is going to have, maybe he has a different plan for me, and he'll make that clear to me. And even though I want to be stubborn sometimes, he'll make sure I get on the right path.
No, I was just telling the guys here about that. You know, I had a plan, and he's like, no, it's funny because I was going to school at ITT to do architect, right? I wanted to do drafting and design. And it had been a while since I've been back to college. And I was so excited because that first semester I got a 4.0. I was like, oh,
yeah,
you know, I was right, drop the mic. Not only did I get a 4.0, I was actually asked to be vice president in a chapter. Wow. So I was like, okay, so we go back to second semester. I'm doing good again. And after the end of the second semester, my drafting teacher called me in because me and her got along really good. She loves my designs. And she was like, we won't be coming back. I said, we meaning you? And she goes, no, all of the ITT have shut down all over the world. Wow. I just sat there. I said, God, you're really funny, right? Like you shut down all of them, you know, but I was hurt, but God's like, nope, that's not how I wanted you to go. So yeah, I mean, it was weird because it's like, I just started school. I'm in my second semester. I was actually there's a couple of architect firms I was really trying to get into here in Dallas. And I was blown away, all of them, because the government had took the funding and all of the ITTs closed down. Not one or two, all of them. And so I was like, well, I guess that's not the plan.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard for us to kind of understand that plan, right? But at the end of the day, I think he's got it figured out more than we do sometimes. So we just that's what faith is. Faith is just kind of understand that we don't have it all figured out, but he does. So we just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. But good for you to go back to school. My mom, short story, my mom went back to college when we were young, or when we were teenagers to finish her degree. And one of my biggest joys was watching her walk across the stage. I can remember like it was yesterday. My brother and I were standing next to each other, and they called her name, and she walked across, and it was pretty my brother and I were tearing up pretty hardcore because we were so proud of her. So good for you, Shannon, to go back to school and dedicate yourself to that. It's awesome.
So now your brother, what does your brother do? Does he pursue in hockey, or he went another route?
Yeah, my brother went another route. So he works in the hospitality business, and then currently he's also taking his real estate classes to become a real estate agent. So he loves sports as well. He was a very successful hockey player, more than his big brother that you're talking to right now. But I think at the end of the day, again, he just made a life choice that he had other things that interest him and he was passionate about, and he chose to do those. So I got to respect that.
Wow. Yeah. Well, hey, like I said, you guys start off together, and
yeah.
You have a question, Karen? You're on mute, Karen.
Trying to keep from coughing. When you were mentioning about that from 18 to 21 that you can be in this junior league. Now, at that time, did you have to register with the NCAA in order to play? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So those junior leagues, not only do the leagues, but each team usually has an academic advisor that understands all the NCAA compliance rules and all the regulations, and really help the players make sure that they're on path to not break any rules or to negatively affect their NCAA eligibility. So maybe a student takes maybe 1 or 2 classes online via junior college. Just that depends on how they can keep up, and if they just want to stay sharp academically. Some kids at that time don't do any schooling just because obviously the commitment to the sport is really, really heavy, and it requires a lot of your time. I mean, we're talking about you're traveling all throughout the nation. You're playing north of 60 games. I mean, just in Dallas or just in Texas alone, there's 5 teams in one of the junior leagues that's available here in North America. So there's one in Dallas, Amarillo, Corpus Christi, Wichita Falls, and I'm forgetting the other one at the moment. So some students do pursue it, but there are academic advisors at that moment to make sure their NCAA eligibility is fine.
Okay.
So after you leave there, what's the next phase after between the 18 and 21? Then what?
Yeah. Then college for a majority of our players. So, and that could range from the NCAA Division III level all the way to the NCAA Division I level.
So what's the age on? What's the oldest in hockey player? Like, what's the age? Because football, they say you can go to. It all depends, right? So the kicker I've heard is 45. You can go to. All depends on your position. Yeah. What's the oldest?
Yeah, I think right now, currently in the National Hockey League, there's a player that is 43 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he's somewhere near his 40s. He plays for Boston Bruins. He's a very talented athlete, but he's a professional. He takes his recovery and his nutrition and his body work really, really seriously. So he's obviously a special human being, but you do get those rare people that can play until they're just much older. But I'd say a majority of your high-end athlete in any professional career is probably 25 to 35 probably is your prime time. I think after 35 you're kind of on the back 9 of your career.
Yeah.
So let me go back to ask you about more on this question on the 18 to 21 in their junior league. Yeah. Now, do they get paid in that league? Okay, you don't.
Depending on the league you play in North America, you might not pay to play, so the whole league might be free and everything that includes for you to play is free. But you're not paying out of pocket, but you're not getting paid. And I should preface this: there's hockey's really different than a lot of sports, and we can and we don't need to, but we could spend an hour talking about all the different routes. To be honest, now there are options in North America, especially in Canada, where players are getting paid to play between that 18 and 21-year-old level. But that's a different route, different level. But a majority of leagues in North America, especially United States, you're not getting paid unless you're playing professional hockey.
Yes, because you're from there, you're going to college, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that would ruin your eligibility.
That would ruin your eligibility. Yeah.
Right. That's why I was like trying to,
So now is the hockey contract is baseball contracts guaranteed? Football is wobbly. Is hockey contracts guaranteed?
I'm actually not too educated on that aspect. I want to say yes, but again, I'm not sure. It kind of shocked me because, like you said, the NFL is wobbly, MLB is, but for some reason, I think NBA is as well. I'm not sure either on that, but I wouldn't be shocked if it isn't. I wouldn't be shocked if the MLB is the only one that does. To be honest, I think it really depends on the contract. But I'm not the best person to ask at the moment. One day I'll know that answer, trust me, but not today, I guess.
Right, general manager.
Right. You're going to be the manager.
I'll definitely know what I'm paying people when I'm doing that.
Wow. So last thing, hockey is now a growing sport. Am I right?
Yes, you are right. Yeah.
What's the struggle with it?
That's a really good question. I think that's a topic that was pretty recently brought up with a lot of things that were going on in our nation. I would say accessibility, Shannon and Karen, is the biggest obstacle that we have. And what I mean by that is any kid, regardless of their financial background or where they grow up or what state, regardless, a majority of kids can walk outside, they can grab a soccer ball, a basketball, a football, and a baseball, and they can walk and find an open field to play. Ice hockey is not like that. You can't walk out and just find a piece of ice and put on some skates and play. It can be really exclusive, and because of that, we really limit the field of who can participate. So not only do you have to have access to a rink, but then you have to have economically the resources to pay for a really, really expensive sport. And I think that really hurts us because our pool of athletes that we can pull from gets limited. And where basketball and baseball and football, and I could be wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like they're a lot more economically reasonable for families to afford. Because they're high school sports, are there's just easier. You don't need to pay for a field really. A field can be rented out by a city or owned by a city, where a lot of rinks are owned privately. And because it's so hot out here in California or any state, it costs a lot of money to keep those rinks cold, and it keeps a lot of money to keep those rinks going. Just for an example, I just bought myself a new pair of skates, and this isn't for me to brag, but just give you guys a peace of mind of how much hockey equipment can cost. I was at the store. The top of the line skates right now, currently in 2020, is $1,000. Now that's just skates. That's not helmet. That's not stick. That's not gloves. Now $1,000 gets you just skates in hockey, where in a lot of other sports, $1,000 is all you need for the whole season. And then you throw on top of travel. And I'll just talk about that real quick. My team was on a plane 20 times last year. So we took 10 round trip plane rides last year. So, and that wasn't covered. The parents had to pay for that as well.
No fundraising.
No fundraising. So again, we're really fortunate because we have a lot of wonderful people in our sport that have really positive backgrounds that can that have these resources available. But I think to myself, are we limiting ourselves from getting the next LeBron James on skates? And what if LeBron James found hockey before he found basketball? He would change our game. And I just hope that we're working towards the opportunity to make hockey more accessible for everyone, regardless if that means maybe you don't have the financial resources, maybe you don't have the education about the game, but it's just maybe you have a hard time getting the gear. I think it's just more making it not as more inclusive for everybody, so they can, people can realize it's a wonderful sport and it's made for anybody too. That's what I would say the biggest obstacle is, 100%.
So let's go back to, you said your mom was a single parent.
Yeah.
And she had two that wanted to play hockey.
Yeah.
Now and you just told us how expensive that is.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
How in the hell did you do it?
I was waiting for that question because I'm sitting here, I'm calculating like, okay, wait, she had two, she by herself. I mean,
yeah. No, you make a lot of sacrifices, right, Karen? I think a lot of parents do when their kids decide to make, to sign up for sports. Fortunately, my grandfather, bless his heart, he's in heaven right now, as well as my mom is as well. He was able to set our family up with the opportunity to do these things and not feel too burdened with money. So I'm not saying that I grew up in a mansion and money wasn't a problem for my family. It's just, like I said, we didn't go without, and we were really, really blessed in that way because my grandpa worked really, really hard to provide for us. And my mom had some other things in her life that she needed to prioritize, but she was able to be at home with us and take care of us. And that's another long story. But we just were fortunate due to some other circumstances my grandpa set up for my family. But I mean, I sympathize with the family that works really hard to make it happen. I don't care if it's hockey. I don't care if it's any sport, there's a lot of parents out there that really work hard to make sure their kids get there on time. And there's a lot of parents out there working two jobs. There's a lot of parents out there that they don't get to see their kid play because they're working to pay for it.
Right. Right.
And I just have so much respect for that. But how can we make sports not so inclusive, and how can we make our exclusive? I feel like sports is the youth scene, and I don't mean to bash my own product, but we got some issues coming, and we need to fix these issues before we really hurt ourselves. And that goes down to just early specialization. It comes down to price. It comes down to really narrowing the field down where we're making parents and players feel pressure that's unnecessary. And I have a hard time with that. I see it, I witness it, and I try to avoid it at all costs. And, I just think it's about helping people in any way you can, if there's a scholarship, if there's something, fundraisers, like you said. But it's too often are we letting kids not play because they have something that they can't control, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well, it's good that you said that. It's good that you said that because I'm gonna be honest. My son, we have 5 athletes. 5 of them are athletes. Out of all the children, 5 are athletes. Son played professional football. We have son training for baseball. Daughter plays basketball. Twins play basketball and football. But one of the twins asked me to play hockey. And I felt bad because I could not let him play. Now, like you said, it's easy to pick up go out on the field with a soccer ball. It's easy to go to anybody's court with a basketball. It's easy to get to that. My daughter fees are $1,000, and that includes everything. That's the bag, the shoes, the everything, right? Football is the same way. You pay one fee, it includes everything. But hockey, I felt bad because he really wanted to play. But I'm going to be honest, there's no way I could have, especially with all 5 of them, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So you're talking about a stick. You're talking about the skates. You're talking about the pads. It wasn't a package deal, huh?
And that's not even including the fees to even play on the team.
Right. So you're not. Hockey didn't come with no, Karen. Hockey didn't come with a package deal where it's like, okay, it's $1,000 and all of this is included. I mean, there's certain sticks out there. It's crazy,
Yeah.
And so baseball is you just get a bat and a glove, right? But everything, when you pay your fees, the uniform is with your fees, and it's a one-time deal. Baseball's outside, so you're not paying for. I mean, you use the fields, but it's not as expensive as getting to court. But hockey, he wanted to so bad, and I was like, I couldn't.
And that's a problem. That's a problem, in my opinion.
He's quick. Oh my gosh, like track, Christopher, he's fast. So I knew he could do it. He has the speed. And so he plays football. He plays on the line. He's not afraid to tackle you. So I knew he could, probably do it. But I just.
Yeah, and that to me is a problem because, it is a reality. But I think we all want to live in a world that money's not the reason why kids can't play sports. And Shannon, or even in a situation like you've already got your wallet going in 5 different directions for 5 different sports. I mean, that's not easy. I don't care what sport you're playing. That's not easy either. I don't even want to know the carpool situation at your house and all the different practices, but that's where I think hockey, and I just think all sports need to take this time to think about how can we make our sport accessible to everyone. But that's going to require us all coming together. And that's another problem too, is we're all fighting over the same kid, and, I think one of the questions you guys were going to ask me about was early specialization. And I mean, it's getting crazy how many kids we see start a sport at 8 and they don't ever try another sport ever. Yeah. And, I think that can be pretty dangerous. I think there's a lot of great athletes out there. And if you want to play sports at the highest level, college or professional, well, wouldn't you think you want to give yourself the best chances by playing as many sports as possible? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you play baseball and football and track and field, well, you're giving yourself 3 chances to make it in one of the 3.
That's right.
But if you just play football and if you just play hockey, well, you just narrowed your field down really, really, really low. And now you better be really damn good because now you're competing against everybody else who only plays football.
That's right.
So I think we just got to work on making it more available to everyone. And there's going to be people that don't like that, but to be honest, those are the people that are the problem, and we gotta wean those people out.
No, you're right, because all the kids played different sports. I made them play, so because I did, and my daughter played volleyball, basketball, soccer, softball. Jordan ran track, played basketball, football. Christian basketball, soccer, football. So all of them played different sports, and then they narrowed down to the one they like. But there's not a sport they can't play. So like with my second oldest, he blew out he had 4 knee surgeries running back. So he couldn't do it anymore. But he was easy. It was easy to shift right into baseball. because he's very athletic. So, but like I said, Christopher really wanted to play hockey. We talked about it. Mom, can we find a team? Let's see what we could do. It was just financially what they were asking for. It was just.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Trust me, it's crazy. I'm in it, and it doesn't keep me from shaking my head and just thinking it's crazy. You know, I can say that pretty honestly. And also, I want to make it clear to the guests that we have that I'm not sitting and saying, you know, I played at a certain point, I only played one sport too. So I don't want to sit here and sound hypocritical, but like, you know, Shannon, like your kids, I played all different sports growing up. And then when I found hockey at a certain age, it was very clear that that's what I loved. And if you wanted to go back and talk to 12, 13-year-old Evan about playing other sports, it wasn't happening. I only wanted to play hockey. And if your kids like that and you guys have had a conversation and made that conscious effort to go all in on one, that's great. I don't want to discourage that. It's just giving your kid the opportunity to venture out to other sports as well, you know. And I had those opportunities, and I just happened to fall in love with hockey, and I didn't turn back, you know. But and it sounds like your son did the same with football, but then boom, he also still had baseball around, which was able to transition because maybe one door closed, but the other one stayed open, and that's what you want to hear, you know.
And it's character building,
yeah,
you know, because you find a different appreciation for different sports. It's character building. So if all you know is football, then you don't understand what baseball players go through or basketball players go through and their mental state of mind. So these guys they experienced it. You know, Jordan was like, man, track ain't no joke. Training for track is no joke. It's a different training. You know, before we get ready to go off, what is it? The last episode, what is it? Michael Jordan's on Netflix. What is it called?
Last Dance. It was wonderful.
Okay. On The Last Dance, when he went to baseball, his training for basketball was different, right? So when he went back to basketball, he had to retrain again because his body was only trained, the way they trained was trained to play baseball. So he had to go back and go, okay, I've got to untrain myself and train for basketball. So you find a different level of respect because everybody trains differently. Swimmers train differently. Hockey, I guarantee you, trains differently than basketball, than football. So you should let your kids adventure and experience all different sports so they can understand. And coaching is different.
Yeah, well, and by playing other sports, what you're doing is you're increasing the athleticism. And I don't care what coach I talk to. A coach wants a great athlete, you know, and a great athlete's different than a great hockey player. And a great athlete's different than a great baseball player because great athletes can play anything. And by doing other sports, you're building athletic skills that are transferable. You know, there's skills that you learn in basketball, track, football, that you can bring on the ice, no doubt. I don't doubt that for a second. And there's skills that you learn on the ice that you can take to the gridiron or take to the track. And that's increasing the athleticism. And I think as a coach, one of the biggest attributes for a player is being a good athlete, because then I know that there's tons of different environments I can put him in, and the chances of him succeeding are high because he's got this background in basketball, or he's got this background in swimming, or he's got this background in wrestling, whatever it may be. I think it's about increasing the athleticism, and I think your goal should be building the best athlete, not just the best football player or the best hockey player. That's my personal opinion.
It's a sports resume, right, Karen? It's a sports resume. You have to have a resume, right? So when you take your resume in and your background shows, you know, you're good in Excel, you're good in this, you venture in this, you did marketing, you did this, then, you know, that's a good resume. And a company's like, wow, they're versatile. So if I need to put her over here, or I need to put him over here, they've had all this experience. It's the same thing with sports. It's a good resume, you know? So. But anyway, listen, this has been a great show, Coach Evans. Thank you for coming on. Great success on your way to college. We are going to be looking for you out there. I'm like, I know that agent.
Right. When you become that general manager, we're going to want tickets because we've never been to hockey games.
100%. We're going.
Never been to a hockey game. So,
Karen, I just want to take this time to really thank you guys again for taking the time. And I really enjoyed this. You guys are awesome. And I think what you're doing and providing this outlet and this platform for parents and coaches and players means a lot to them. And it's definitely paying off. So you guys keep going. I'm cheering for you guys too. And just anytime you guys want to talk, you know where to find me now. So I'd be happy to come back.
Well,
Oh
thank you,
yeah,
Coach
we'll
Evans.
send
We
you the
appreciate
superstar
it.
back. We'll bring you back on.
Yes, thank you so much. So, listen, this has been a great show. If let your kids experience different sports.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy life. Don't put them in one sport and figure it out for them. Let them figure it out for themselves, just like Coach Evans did. He played all the sports, but one movie changed his life, and he figured it out for himself. So,
Wait, but for hockey, start saving right now. When you get pregnant right now, start putting some money in the piggy bank for and start saving the money right now.
where did you say when you get pregnant right now, start putting money in the piggy bank? Oh my God.
Save for hockey
I
right
know, right? Because those skates were $1,000. Oh, I probably would have passed out in the. Oh no, Kristen, no, you can't play, Christopher. I'm so sorry, but no, that was funny, Karen. If you're pregnant now, start saving.
That's funny.
Karen, they was trying to save for diapers first, girl.
Yeah, diapers
and,
before skates.
and
Diapers before skates.
formula is $35 a can. Can they save for that first? She talking about hockey. Oh my gosh.
Just say it.
Hey, only at Can We Talk Sports you hear something crazy come out from Karen. So anyway, this is your girl Shannon at Can We Talk Sports. I'm here with my host.
I'm Karen.
And we just got through having a great interview with Coach Evans. Listen, you guys have a fantastic evening, and we will be back here.
Oh, tell Aaron. Aaron, tell people how they can find you. Evan.
Oh, yeah, no worries. You guys can find me on social media. So I'm on Instagram at Evan Alexius, EvanAlexius, just all one word. You can send me a follow there. You can also find me at my name on Facebook.
All right, you heard it right here on Can We Talk Sports. We will be back Thursday at 7 with another great show. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.